Gone in minutes, the mystery of LeeAnna Warner still casts a long shadow over Chisholm. Chisholm, Minnesota. More than 2 decades have passed since 5-year-old LeeAnna Susan Marie Warner vanished without a trace from the streets of Chisholm, Minnesota. Today, she would be 27 years old. The question that has haunted this Iron Range town for more than 22 years remains heartbreaking. What happened to LeeAnna? On June 14th, 2003, a quiet summer Saturday, LeeAnna returned home from a community rummage sale with her mother, Kaylin Warner. Though encouraged to rest, the spirited kindergartner pleaded to visit a nearby friend. At 4:30 p.m., she left on foot, barefoot, wearing a denim dress, a single garnet earring, and carrying nothing but childlike excitement. The friend wasn't home, so LeeAnna turned back. Witnesses later spotted her walking west along Southwest 2nd or 3rd Street between 5 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. Then she vanished.
This house, now boarded up on 2nd Street in Chisholm, is where he raised his daughter LeeAnna.
What's your name? LeeAnna.
The little 5-year-old, nicknamed Beaner, on a late Saturday afternoon in June 2003, walked down the alley to knock on a friend's door, but no one was home.
There was another gentleman that lived here, and he actually saw her come make it up this far. So, and then after that, well, that's where we lost her. So
that was the last known moment LeeAnna was ever seen.
Beaner, come home.
Dinner.
We miss you. We're not going to stop looking for you. We're not going to sleep until we find you.
That desperate plea went unanswered, as seemingly everyone in the town of 5,000 people looked for LeeAnna.
We're relatively confident that she's not anywhere in that 5-mile radius around Chisholm, just based on the thoroughness of our search.
Authorities then figured LeeAnna must have been kidnapped. The crime seemed impossible in a city this size, just 2 blocks from Chisholm's idyllic downtown. But there were thousands of visitors that night for a concert in Motorcycle Run. LeeAnna's footprints found near Chisholm's Lake turned out to be from another day. Partially draining the lake, found nothing. Authorities questioned several people, including a 24-year-old who lived down the street, whom they charged with child porn.
All the agencies that worked on the case would like to have followed up with Matt to try to determine what, if any, involvement he had, but unfortunately that ended when he took his own life.
Was that the best lead that ever came forward?
In my opinion, yeah.
Chisholm police are keeping the case open. They're looking into tips, but they still haven't received that major break.
A real good, specific lead is what we would need today.
As the 15th anniversary of her disappearance nears, Beaner would be 20 if she's alive today. Her dad still believes she is.
we just got to keep pushing and trying. Somebody's got to know something. So sooner or later, they'll get tired of hearing me and they'll crack. 'Cause I ain't backing off. So I ain't quitting. So.
In Chisholm, Lou Ragoose, KARE 11 News.
Anyone with tips on LeeAnna Warner's disappearance should contact Chisholm Police. We have that number with the story.
When LeeAnna failed to return by 5:30 p.m., Caitlin began knocking on doors and calling out her name, enlisting neighborhood children in a desperate search. By nightfall, with no sign of her daughter, she called the police. What followed was one of the largest searches in this region's history. Helicopters, bloodhounds, and hundreds of volunteers combed alleys, fields, and even abandoned mine shafts. Her scent trail ended abruptly at the roadside, raising fears of an abduction. Over the following days, officers drained Long Year Lake, scoured wooded terrain, conducted door-to-door interviews. Despite over 1,700 tips, not a single piece of confirmed evidence has surfaced. LeeAnna stood just over 3 feet tall, weighing 48 pounds, with shoulder-length bob of dark brown hair and large brown eyes. She had a mole above her left ankle and a dimple on her left shoulder, details her family clings to even now. Nicknamed Beamer, she was fearless and curious, known for wandering off in search of adventure. Her disappearance, however, was out of character and unexplainable. The police never ruled the case a kidnapping. The abrupt disappearance strongly suggested foul play. One early lead focused on Matthew James Curtis, a 24-year-old local man arrested 2 months later for child pornography. He was questioned repeatedly, and his vehicle was tested for evidence, but no connection to LeeAnna was ever found. Curtis died by suicide in September 2003, just one day before a scheduled court appearance. In addition, several unidentified individuals and vehicles were reported near the scene. A man in his 30s with a sun or star tattoo, a bald African American in a maroon and blue Cadillac, and a Caucasian man with curly black hair driving a rusty brown pickup. None were ever identified. Weeks before LeeAnna vanished, she showed signs of distress. Parents said she arrived home one day with a stash of Barbie dolls they had never seen before, allegedly given to her by a little old lady. Another day, she packed a suitcase and told her family she was going to live with her new family. She even began sleeping in her closet, claiming she was afraid of the monsters. Investigators explored the possibility that someone had been grooming the child, but found no conclusive evidence to pursue that lead. LeeAnna's parents, Caitlin and Christopher Warner, were not suspects, and authorities have never suggested they were involved. The couple had recently moved to Chisholm from Wisconsin, seeking a quieter life after their daughter's disappearance. They eventually left town, unable to bear the memories. Speaking on the 22-year mark of the case, Chisholm Police Chief James Bunkard reaffirmed that the investigation remains open and active. We continue to follow every credible lead, he said. We are leveraging new technologies in DNA and digital forensics. While we haven't had a breakthrough, we are far from giving up. The National Center of Missing and Exploited Children has released age progression images showing what LeeAnna might look like today as a young adult. Her story has been featured on America's Most Wanted, the People magazine, and true crime podcasts like True Crime Garage. Have information? Speak up. If you know anything about the disappearance of LeeAnna Warner, no matter how insignificant it may seem, authorities urge you to come forward. Please call Chisholm Police Department at 218-254-7915 or the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678, or submit an online tip at www.missingkids.org. A town waits. A family grieves. A little girl is still missing. 22 years later, echoes of that summer evening in Chisholm still cry out for answers. Hope, while we're here.